Hello, and welcome to Living Your Senior Life, the podcast where we explore tips, ideas, and inspiration for making the most of every season of life. Whether it's health, lifestyle, or a little bit of fun, we're here to help you live well, live fully, and live your best senior life. Recently, I was browsing through some old family photos and came across a picture of my mother from the 1950s. She was young, vibrant, working as a secretary, standing in front of her first car with the biggest smile on her face. And as I sat there looking at that photo, something amazing happened. I could almost hear her voice telling me the story of how she saved up to buy that car and how proud she felt. That simple moment of reminiscing didn't just make me smile. It made me feel connected to her in a way that transcended time. And that's exactly what we're talking about today. Before we jump in, I need to share an important disclaimer. Everything we discuss today is for educational purposes only and is not intended as medical advice. If you're caring for someone with dementia or any health condition, always consult with qualified healthcare professionals before trying new interventions. Today, we're diving deep into something that might seem simple on the surface, but is actually incredibly powerful: the benefits of reminiscing for seniors. And I'm not just talking about having a pleasant trip down memory lane, though it certainly is that. I'm talking about real science-backed benefits that can improve cognitive function, reduce depression and anxiety, strengthen family bonds, and even help seniors maintain their sense of identity and purpose. Whether you're a senior looking to stay mentally sharp, a family member wanting to connect more deeply with an aging loved one, or a caregiver seeking non-pharmacological ways to improve well-being, this episode is packed with practical information you can use starting today. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's explore how the simple act of remembering can transform lives.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. You sent us a fascinating stack of sources this time, all about reminiscing, looking back at your life. But these sources, they frame it as something, well, much more rigorous than just cozy nostalgia. We're diving into something called reminiscence therapy, or RT. Researchers are now recognizing it as a really powerful, scientifically proven tool for both cognitive and emotional health. And here's the bit that really stopped me in my tracks. There's new research just out in 2024. It showed that spending just 1 hour a week doing structured reminiscing, just 1 hour, can significantly cut down symptoms of depression and anxiety in older adults.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it? That kind of impact from 1 hour.
It really is a massive return on investment.
Absolutely. And, what's really fascinating here is realizing this isn't just about a fleeting good feeling. Our mission today, I think, is to go beyond that simple idea of nostalgia. We're going to unpack the science, look at, I believe our sources list 13 specific benefits of recalling and sharing memories, and then maybe get into how technology, cutting-edge tech is changing what this practice even looks like now.
Okay. And our sources seem pretty clear on the scope. They define the therapy. They differentiate it from just, casually sharing memories.
Right.
And they explore the impact on well-being for all seniors, really, whether they're cognitively healthy or maybe dealing with some impairment. So, let's get started. So first things first, let's define our terms. If I'm chatting with my dad, say, and he goes, "Oh, remember that time we went camping?" Is that reminiscence therapy? Or what's the line? What separates that friendly chat from a structured intervention?
That's a great question. And the key difference really boils down to two things: structure and intent. RT, reminiscence therapy, it's defined as a structured approach. You're recalling and sharing past experiences, yes, but specifically with the intention of improving emotional health, maybe strengthening memory, definitely boosting quality of life. It's actually a recognized evidence-based therapy, not just, shooting the breeze.
I see. And the sources also mention a difference between simple reminiscence and something deeper, life review. Can you unpack that a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. So simple reminiscence is pretty much what you described. It's informal sharing. Pleasant, definitely beneficial, but often kind of undirected. Life review, though, that's quite a bit more profound. It usually involves a deeper, more structured reflection on someone's entire life journey. The goal there is often about processing emotions, integrating experiences, finding meaning, maybe even achieving a sense of closure. That usually needs a bit more guidance.
Okay. And you mentioned its versatility. Is this structured approach mainly for people who are already facing memory challenges? Or dementia, perhaps?
No, and that's actually one of the most critical takeaways, I think. The American Psychological Association, for instance, recognizes RT as a proven and, importantly, a low-cost approach that genuinely works across the board. So yes, for seniors dealing with cognitive impairment, it's incredibly valuable. It uses sensory cues to help trigger memories, provides a sense of security, continuity, can even reduce agitation sometimes.
Right.
And this is key, for cognitively intact older adults, it serves a different, almost preventative function. It sharpens the mind, it strengthens attention and recall, it definitely promotes social interaction, and it helps reinforce identity and purpose, especially after big life changes like, say, retirement.
Ah, okay, so it's like a mental workout for everyone, just with slightly different targets.
Exactly. A mental workout is a great way to put it.
Okay, let's get into the specifics then. Those 13 benefits you mentioned, our sources lay out quite a few ways this impacts the brain, the spirit. Let's start with the cognitive side, the brain workout part.
Sure. Yeah, think of this first group as really exercising the brain, particularly areas like the prefrontal cortex. The act of sharing a story. Doesn't matter if it's about a vacation or your first car, it actually demands quite a lot from the brain. You have to sequence events, retrieve names, maybe places, connect cause and effect. That's enhanced cognitive function right there. Benefit number 1. It's activating both long-term and short-term memory, strengthening those neural pathways. You could compare it to doing a complex puzzle or maybe one of those brain training games.
But with maybe more emotional resonance.
Exactly. With that added, often deep emotional payoff.
That makes perfect sense. You're not just recalling a static fact like a date. You're narrating. You're building a sequence. That's the workout. And that process seems like it ties directly into the next benefit listed, identity preservation.
It really does. It's like an anchor. When you reinforce the link between, say, past achievements or past challenges overcome and your present self, your present values, you preserve that core sense of who you are. That stability is just vital, especially during times of change, or as you mentioned, if recent memories are starting to fade a bit. That strong long-term memory becomes this immovable anchor for identity.
Okay, let's pivot then. Let's talk about the emotional core. The healing factor, as the sources put it. We touched on combating depression and anxiety with that statistic, but I'm curious about the mechanism. I mean, isn't pretty much any positive social engagement good for your mood?
That's a fair point.
How do we know it's the content of the reminiscing itself that's doing the heavy lifting?
Right. Well, what seems to separate this from just general socializing is the intentional focus. Often it's a focus on resilience, on positive memory recall, or even working through difficult memories in a structured way. So combating depression and anxiety, benefit number 3, isn't just about social contact. It's about consciously shifting the cognitive focus. The research shows that regular structured sessions can actively counteract those negative thinking patterns. It forces reflection on past strengths, challenges overcome. You're essentially rebuilding self-esteem by looking at the evidence of your own life, your survival.
Evidence of survival. I like that phrase.
Yeah. And this connects directly to another crucial point. Stress reduction and relaxation. That's benefit number 5. Recalling pleasant memories, specifically, seems to activate the brain's reward centers. You get that release of feel-good chemicals like dopamine, and some research even indicates this practice can lower physiological stress markers, cortisol levels specifically.
Wait, hang on. Lower cortisol, like the primary stress hormone, the one that meditation and exercise are famous for tackling.
That's what the research suggests.
So just recalling a peaceful memory, a happy moment, could have a measurable chemical effect, comparable to, say, mindfulness.
In a way, yes. It grounds the mind in a peaceful, secure experience. It acts as a mental break from whatever current worries might be swirling around. And the huge practical advantage of this, which is benefit number 6, is that it's a non-pharmacological approach. It's safe, it's drug-free, a way to support mental health that, in some cases, yields results comparable to certain medications, but obviously without the risk of side effects.
That's massive,
Yeah.
especially for families maybe looking for alternatives or complementary approaches. Okay, let's move to the final cluster of benefits. This seems to center on connection and meaning. The legacy aspects, maybe, where the individual story meets the family story.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. Benefit number 7 is strengthen family bonds. Reminiscing is often the primary way that shared values, family history, traditions get transferred across generations. It deepens those emotional connections. And it actively reduces loneliness by creating shared context and understanding.
It's not just what they say,
Yeah.
right? It's also how they say it, the act of telling.
Precisely. Benefit 8. Improve communication skills. Storytelling naturally encourages verbal expression. It can enhance vocabulary, and crucially, it builds intergenerational empathy. When you really listen to your grandparent describe, say, the hardships of their youth or how they met your grandmother, you understand their perspective, their world, so much better.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I think maybe the most powerful benefit listed here, for me anyway, is number 9. Life review and finding meaning. That sounds almost, well, therapeutic in the truest sense of the word.
It really is. It's often an opportunity to process emotions that might have lingered for years, to acknowledge one's own resilience, maybe find closure on unresolved memories or regrets. That integration process, that sense-making, it leads directly to a greater feeling of peace and purpose in later life.
And that seems like it would lead straight into validation of life experiences. Benefit 10.
Directly. That act of someone else truly listening to and honoring those stories, the achievements, the career, the struggles overcome, raising a family, it restores dignity. It reinforces that deep, fundamental sense that one's life has had meaning, that it mattered, that it ripples beyond just the present moment.
And when you feel validated like that,
Your self-esteem gets a boost. That's benefit 11. It reminds seniors of their strengths, their resourcefulness, that ongoing value.
which in turn probably encourages more sharing.
Exactly. Which leads to benefit 12. Increased social interaction. It provides comfortable, meaningful topics for conversation, helps build friendships, maybe based on shared experiences or eras.
And all of this together.
Leads to the final benefit, number 13. An overall enhanced quality of life. Greater satisfaction, more optimism, maybe even more motivation. And this isn't just anecdotal. A 2024 systematic review confirmed this link.
Okay, this is all incredibly compelling. Let's turn the corner now. Because here's where, for me, it gets really interesting. We're talking about this ancient practice, sharing memories, maybe looking at an old shoebox full of photos.
Yeah.
How is the digital world changing this? What's happening with technology right now?
Yeah, this is a fascinating area. The future of RT really looks like it's going to be blended, but digital tools are definitely becoming more prominent, even dominant in some ways. So digital reminiscence therapy. It basically uses technology apps, tablets, sometimes AI, even virtual reality to help seniors recall, record, and share their memories. Often the goal is sensory saturation, blending photos with video clips, with music from the era to really engage multiple senses at once.
Okay, tell us about that 2025 meta-analysis you mentioned earlier. That sounded like a pretty big deal.
It really was a landmark study. It looked at 53 different randomized controlled trials, a huge amount of data, and the conclusion was striking. Digital reminiscence therapy actually ranked highest for overall effectiveness among all the different ways of delivering RT, especially for people dealing with cognitive impairment.
Highest effectiveness, wow. But why? Doesn't using technology, especially something like AI or VR, doesn't that risk feeling impersonal, kind of defeating the whole purpose of human connection and authentic memory sharing?
That's the potential pitfall, absolutely. And it's something developers have to be really mindful of. But the way these tools are often designed now is to amplify connection, not replace it. So, for example, some platforms use conversational AI, but not as the storyteller. It acts more like a perfect conversation companion.
How so?
Well, the AI might analyze a digitized photo the person is looking at and then prompt them with open-ended questions like, that looks like a family gathering. Tell me about the sounds and smells you remember from that day, or what was the biggest challenge you faced that year. It keeps the conversation flowing, focused on their experience.
Ah, I see. Like a tireless, very informed interviewer.
Kind of, yeah. And then you have virtual reality, which is opening up completely new possibilities. Seniors, maybe with limited mobility, can virtually revisit incredibly meaningful places from their past. Their childhood home, a favorite vacation spot, the town where they grew up. That sensory immersion, being back in that place, is proving incredibly effective at triggering those really deep-seated emotional memories, ones that might otherwise be hard to access.
Still, even with all this high-tech stuff, the sources do stress that the traditional methods,
Yeah.
the feel of an old photo, a physical object, that's irreplaceable.
Oh, absolutely. And that's crucial. There's an emotional and tactile satisfaction in holding an old letter or turning the pages of a physical album that technology just can't replicate. That's why the most effective strategy often seems to be a blended approach.
Blended.
Yeah, like maybe you're viewing digitized photos on a tablet for clarity and ease of access, but you're also holding the original printed photos, or listening to digitized music while looking through an old scrapbook. You use the digital tools to enhance the physical, tangible experience.
Okay, that makes sense. Best of both worlds. So let's bring this home. What does all this science mean for you, the listener? How do we take this and actually integrate it into our lives or maybe the lives of older adults we care about? Give us some actionable steps.
Right. The key thing seems to be consistency, making it a gentle routine rather than a one-off event. And you can start really simple. For traditional activities, maybe create a physical memory box, just a simple box filled with small keepsakes, photos, maybe ticket stubs, things that spark stories.
I like that. Tangible prompts.
Exactly. Or dedicate some time to music from their era. Use streaming platforms. It's so easy now to create playlists from their teens or 20s. Sound is such a potent memory trigger.
Oh, definitely. Music gets you right back there.
Or cook traditional recipes together. Scent and taste are maybe the fastest pathways to unlocking those complex emotional memories associated with family meals or holidays.
And what about capturing the stories themselves for that legacy aspect?
Yeah, for that, you want rich narrative. So maybe use audio or even video recording. The key is using open-ended prompts. Avoid questions that just get a yes or no.
Like what? Give us an example.
Instead of, did you like your first job? Maybe ask, what was the most surprising thing you learned at your first job? Or tell me about a challenge you faced when you started working. Or describe the moment you knew you'd met your spouse. Get them telling a story.
Okay, good prompts. And what about for the person who's listening, the facilitator, I guess? Are there golden rules?
Yeah, a few key things. First, set the scene. Choose a quiet, comfortable space. Minimize distractions. Make it feel safe and relaxed. Second, as we just said, the questioning. Open-ended is crucial. Things like, tell me more about this photo, or how did that make you feel, rather than, was this fun?
Right.
And probably the most important guiding rule, follow their lead. Don't interrupt to correct small factual details. Whether the car was blue or green doesn't really matter.
Okay.
And definitely don't press them if they seem hesitant about a memory. The goal is connection and the feeling the memory evokes. Let their emotional comfort guide the conversation. Dignity and connection always trump perfect accuracy.
Got it. Follow their lead. Focus on feeling, not just facts. And since this is like a workout, consistency matters.
It really does. I mean, clinical research often uses structured sessions, maybe 60 minutes, once or twice a week for 8 to 12 weeks to show those significant therapeutic benefits we talked about. But honestly, even casual, shorter conversations about favorite memories woven into your daily or weekly routine, that helps too. It all contributes. Just make it a regular part of connecting.
Okay. So we started this deep dive framing, reminiscing not just as, passive nostalgia, but as this active science-backed therapeutic tool. And it really feels like a complete package, doesn't it? It's memory exercise, it's mood enhancement, it's connection building, and it's legacy preservation, all kind of wrapped into the simple act of sharing and listening.
That sums it up perfectly. The fundamental goal here is really about honoring the past, using those reflections to profoundly enrich the present. And even with all the exciting digital innovations coming online, the heart of it, the core process, it really remains unchanged. It's about deep, intentional listening. It's about sharing. And it's about ensuring that individual stories, individual lives, ripple forward and continue to bind generations together.
Beautifully put.
And maybe that leads us to a final provocative thought for you, the listener, to carry forward. If the ultimate goal of reminiscing is partly about preserving identity and building connection, maybe consider not just preserving the content of the memories themselves, but actively recording the process of sharing them right now.
What do you mean?
Well, when we capture these stories for the next generation, using audio or video, or even just writing them down, are we merely documenting history? Or could we think about it as intentionally creating a lasting, perhaps digital representation of the deep connection, the attention, the listening that we are giving to that person today?
So capturing the relationship as much as the memory itself.
Something like that. Food for thought, anyway. We'd encourage you, maybe this week, make one memory sharing activity part of your routine. See where it takes you.
Only scratch the surface of what's possible when we take time to honor and engage with memories. You know what I love most about reminiscence therapy? It's accessible. You don't need expensive equipment, specialized training, or a prescription. You just need time, genuine interest, and a willingness to listen and engage. So here's my challenge for you this week. Choose just one activity we discussed today. Maybe it's pulling out those old photo albums that have been sitting in the closet. Maybe it's downloading a digital photo app and uploading some family pictures to share with an aging parent. Maybe it's simply calling a senior in your life and asking them to tell you a story about their childhood. Whatever you choose, I promise you it will be time well spent. And who knows? That simple conversation might just become one of your cherished memories someday. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that we have a complete guide to everything we discussed today on our website at livingyourSeniorLife.com. You'll find the full blog post with all 13 benefits explained in detail, practical activity ideas you can use right away, and even information about the latest digital tools and apps for reminiscence therapy. If you found this episode helpful, I'd be grateful if you'd share it with someone who might benefit. Maybe a family member caring for aging parents, a friend working in senior care, or a senior who'd enjoy learning about these benefits. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to Living Your Senior Life wherever you listen to podcasts so you don't miss future episodes. Until next time, take some time to reminisce, to listen, and to connect. Those stories matter. Those memories matter. And the people sharing them with you, they matter most of all. Thank you for spending time with us today. Take care, and we'll talk to you next time.